Welcome back to On Right Podcast. You have Elijah here alongside Grant. We're going to step in a tad week late. Just going to had a couple weeks to process the Detroit Lions draft, so we're going to hop into that and just kind of give our draft grades as out as dust settled, and all the first opinions are out. We're going to just recap that and give our opinions on that. So I'm going to throw it over to you here.
Yeah.
Obviously we made a big splash right off rip. So just what's your thought on it?
Yeah, so I think I'm just kind of pulling it up here so I can take a peek at it. I like that. I think if I were to give it a grade, I'd probably say B, B plus. Definitely love how Aiden fell on our lap. I just think that was a no-brainer as far as who we should win with. I just look at him. That's the guy you kind of build, he's a cornerstone of your franchise. The guy you want to build around. I'm glad that worked out because obviously Walker, he played on like the best defense in college football last year, national champion. Um, but I do just kind of part a little bit kind of worry about just like was worried about just kind of like maybe him falling into our lap just because everybody was falling in love with him because I did at the combine. And obviously being slightly biased as well, just watching Hutchinson play every Saturday, that was something I just definitely thought he'd be a better pick for us. I just feel like overall, like I think the draft I would have gave it an A. I see why we went and got Jameson Williams. I definitely see why we did. We saw Drake London go, Olave went, or Wilson and Olave went, and I think we were just kind of thinking like, well, we don't want him to go to Green Bay. And we don't want him to go, end up in Minnesota or in Chicago. And ironically, we ended up trading with a team within our division, so they potentially could have helped us get, a couple years from now, he could be, one of the, best receivers in the league. I feel like that's kind of like what his ceiling is. It's gonna be tough though, just to kind of see. I mean, he's come off the ACL, and ACLs, I know they ain't what they used to be, but they're already trying to talk about how he might not make the first 6 games. I just feel like we could have gotten, a receiver, like solid receiver at that 32nd pick, and then also been able to keep those other 2 picks and address maybe like, some better players on defense. You know what I'm saying? Getting them early in the draft. But overall, I mean, I like how we got, some defenders or some solid, players on defense. The guy, Josh Pascal. So, everybody's kind of like, why they get him? And, kind of indifferent about the pick just because somebody said he probably would have been available in the 3rd round and we got him, a little earlier. But I did see that he was like, I think Pro Football Focus, I think they ranked him like the best DN in the SEC. And that's huge, especially when, especially what Georgia was doing last year. And I don't know, he just said he's like a great locker room guy, overcame cancer. I think he's like diagnosed with cancer as a freshman. And, so you love the story. I watched some highlights on him, like his motor. He does kind of remind me of Hutch in a way. It's a big mauler. He's not going to like wow you with the athleticism. But I'd say overall, I mean, got some defense. That's what we definitely need. I don't really love the tight end pick randomly in the 5th round. He also just had an ACL injury. So don't love the picks on offense, but I'm a fan of the picks on defense. What do you think?
Yeah, so I'm going a solid B minus. And
Okay.
although I'm a little torn because I'm staying with you. I'm going to dive right into it. Obviously, I love the Hutchinson pick. Jameis Williams is a good player and
Yep.
could be a great player. So you can't be too mad about that. But ultimately, it's going to come down to, is he going to be better head up than Christian Watson, which was one of the picks we traded to get him.
Yep.
And outside of that, is he going to be better than Christian Watson and I'm drawing a blank on his name, the Sheen, Georgia safety.
Little sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who was our other pick that we traded away.
Yep.
So that's really what it's going to come down to. If either one of them guys are studs, or both of them turn out to be a stud, and even if he is, then that's I just think that's kind of really what it comes down to, is head to head against them other 2 guys, because
Yeah.
we're really not a team that's a one player away type of team. We're in it for the long long haul as far as rebuilding, and we
Yeah.
need many solid pieces that we can put around this team. I know I was excited about those consecutive picks. I know we did a lot of talking about it, lots of draft prep, and I think that's what you could have. Uh,
Built the team out with
yeah,
more.
I mean he damn near has to be all pro, perennial all pro in order for that to really pan out.
Yeah.
If those other two guys are even just solid, Pro Bowl type players.
Who does he remind you of?
I don't know, a little speech. I don't know. I don't know. I'd be honest. I don't. The only really thing I know is he can get the ball and go. That's really what I know about him. He's a speedster. He can turn the corner.
Yeah.
Uh, I know he's not the biggest guy, but that seems to be kind of how things are trending. A little water
Deshaun
bug.
Jackson vibes.
Yeah. I'll give you that. Just get the ball and go. So that's uh, I do think he could be solid, but I don't know if we're a one player away type of guy or type of team. But
Right.
outside of that, on the 47 6 pick, Pascal, I've actually heard a lot of people talk very very well about him. But I think that's one of the things where if you're going to take a gamble on a player, why didn't I go get Dean right there from Georgia?
Yeah.
Go get if you're going to gamble on a defensive player out the SEC, that guy was free falling. And so, and I'd be willing to bet he's going to be a stud in the NFL. I don't have a doubt about that. That's one of them
Oh
type
yeah.
of things where they're going to look back like the Honey Badgers. I'm like, how the hell did he fall? Like, oh, because we don't really, because of some BS. So I kind of think, but overall, I do think I think Pascal's a solid player as well. Obviously, I believe in Hutch. I think James Williams will be a good player. I don't think, I just don't know if he's going to be that, um, you know,
I just
1,500 yard a year guy, or even a
yeah.
1,250 maybe. I don't know. I think that's he
It
might hit
just
that once.
it brought back like PTSD, like you know Mike Williams, and I mean we obviously got them guys a little higher. Like when Roy Williams was like 4, I think Mike Williams was like 8 or 9. I mean hell, you can even look at like Ebron, like he was getting those type of skilled players, like you already hit on the
Yeah,
head.
I
They got
don't, I don't remember Roy Williams. Mike was 10.
okay.
Yeah, but obviously hopefully he'll be better than that.
I think Roy was like top 5.
Yeah,
I think he was.
yeah. Roy Williams at least had some solid seasons. Though. I will give you. He wasn't what he was, but he had some solid.
Did he?
Roy, you talking about yeah.
He's from Texas? I
Yeah,
didn't. Okay.
I feel he had a couple of solid. He wasn't Charles Rogers.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I just.
R.I.P. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
No, I hear you.
I'm just saying in general. I feel you. I feel you on the fact that it was a little PTSD as far as
Yeah.
getting Pat happy, and we've been burned a lot recently itself. So
Right. We see it all the time. I mean, I can name Debo, AJ Brown, Metcalf, Amon St. Brown.
yep.
I mean, I could probably sit here and rattle off like 7 or 8 receivers that have made some kind of contribution. Because I look at a receiver, I mean, obviously, like, I'm not going to hold you. I want to Drake London if he was going to fall, you know what I'm saying? Or if, like, but receivers, I mean, you got them bona fide guys, but you also, I just feel like where they're at now with the receiving core, like, I feel like I would have been more, like, I would like more of like a plug and play type player, like, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of a placeholder. But we'll see what happens. I'll also add to another thing from the draft as a whole. All those players that were drafted were all team captain at some point in their career, and I say that just I think like
Going heavy on character.
yeah, character, guys, leaders. I think they're really trying to. Not that I say the locker room. I don't think the locker room was really like in a bad spot last year. Definitely was when Patricia was there. But I just think now it's just like we don't really get like them competitors that come in and just like lead. And I do feel like we do have somebody with the guy Malcolm Rodriguez. I mean, I remember him just being like a tackling machine. I ain't gonna sit here and say I watch it every single Saturday, but that's one thing I definitely familiar with the name and heard about him quite a bit. A lot of them bigger games towards the end of the season. So and I also heard good things about the guy, Kirby Joseph from
Illinois. Yep.
from Illinois.
Yeah, he was on my list.
Do I love the program that he came from? No, because they're not that great. But watch some of his highlights as well. Ball hawk. I think he'll. I like they kind of what I kind of see happening is they got Tracy Walker, they got Deshaun Elliott, they got some other DB, a couple of DBs in free agency on top of like Okuda and the other guys we have coming back. I mean, I think there's going to kind of turn into like a big competition.
Yeah.
Like whoever plays the best, practices the best, plays, works the hardest, they're going to have a crack at it. And hopefully, we can kind of find ourselves a solid secondary come the start of the season to
This is the
work on it.
curveball, and you don't have to go in that deep in it. But what do you expect from Okuda this year? Like what is the minimum? I don't even know. I'm kind of like I have a major injury, but it's like
I mean, it's going to be,
kind of almost like a prove it year.
yeah.
You have a prove it year off of ACL. I mean
Right.
Achilles. I mean, uh,
Yeah, I mean, you see all the highlights, all the videos, that's great. From the last time I seen him play at a high level, he had one of the best defensive ends in the NFL playing on his team in college. And the point I'm making is that, like, I just don't know if he really got it because all we used to do was watch him play. He played at Ohio State, you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't really have, like, he had Chase Young with him. We might have a pass rush, this year, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully.
3 years.
Yeah, like I always joke with you. I always tell you, he owes Chase Young money.
He's getting cooked before.
Yeah, he owes Chase Young money.
What Adrian Brown said? No, he was getting, but he
Cooked. He got cooked.
But no, he was, man. Like it was bad. Like they were picking on him. They were just like, all right, your turn.
Yeah, I think he gave like 120 to Devo, like first game of the season. And I feel bad for him towards Achilles, like the second or third game of the season. He played. I think he was hurt his whole rookie year, pretty much. He only played in like 5 or 6 games. We hope that you'd be able to get something from him. But I do like they have some DBs there that are definitely gonna be pushing each other for starting time, or playing time. And like I said, we just never really we don't really know what we're gonna get with him. But I never loved what I saw to begin with. I never even loved that we even got him.
Yeah, it's just that third pick with a corner. Like I don't know. It's such a high. Like
Yeah,
you got to be Dion. You got to be.
right.
I mean, I just think I feel like all the great corner. I mean, other than Dion, none of them are took that high. It's just
Yeah.
A guy that kind of under the radar. More or less.
Yeah, even though a couple did go high, but like I don't know. I feel like your team is like in that bad of shape.
Stingley and Sauce Gardner. I mean, I think best cases usually is they try to just be solid players. Worst case is you kind of probably maybe knock on wood end up with an Okuda. So I think one of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a lot to say. I don't know. Overall, I did until recently forget that we have the Rams pick next year as well.
Yeah,
So
first rounders. Yep.
Yep. So I did kind of forget that until recently. So we can double back again, and hopefully we're not trading to move up to get another Bama receiver. But
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just say overall, I mean, and we're just defensive minded, just want to like, O-line, like kind of like build from the inside out. So I just, that's why I do really think we don't love that pick, the receiver pick, but also like for me, it's like quantity, having multiple picks. I mean, 4 picks in the top like 35, 30, 40, something like that. Like, I mean, that, get a whole bunch of young guys and just, kind of build from there. But we'll see. We're sitting here, in mid-May talking about how much we're a fan of it. And
we said
how guns blazing.
We had what? 4 picks in the top 44, right? Or something like that.
Yep.
We said we needed 3 starters.
Yeah.
And we got 1. Starter.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it that way, we said we needed to walk away with 3, which should have been pretty easy. We got only guy penciling starter from right now is Hutchinson.
Right. Because and Jameson is like to be determined because he better be starting. I know that if he's healthy, but it's one of them things where it's like you just don't really know. ACLs aren't what they used to be. You just never really know because they're already trying to say he should sit out for the first 6 games of the season.
Right.
So it's
And then is Pascal going to be a starter? Probably not. So for all of that, a 3-win team is walking away with 1 starter.
Yeah. So like I said earlier, I mean, I think if you want to look at it in a little bit of like a lighter, like a better light, at least he didn't go to Green Bay or Chicago, or Minnesota. They helped us get him. So
I agree. But worst case is they'll be looking back laughing at us when Christian Watson is a 15-yard receiver.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be like, shit. I mean,
he ain't got no choice but to go for at least 1,100 who he got thrown to him. So,
yeah. No, I feel you.
So, yeah. But yeah, I guess another thing we just wanted to kind of just touch on a little bit. Obviously Michigan fans, so it was great, seeing 3 guys going to top 50. 3 would have went in the first 30 in the first round. If Jabo didn't get hurt. What do you like about where Hill fell? Super Bowl runner up, and then Jabo goes, go play with Harbaugh's brother. I think perfect situation for both of them. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a good thing. I think we've recently, obviously we've always put out NFL talent. That's the thing that Michigan does. Recently we put out a lot of defenders.
Yep.
And so it's just good to see that continue and get a little upper echelon talent in there, mix a lot of them first rounders in there, and guys that should be in the mix, obviously we get to see Hutchinson every day being local, Michigan. And the Ravens are going to be in the mix, so we see a lot of Ajabo once he gets back on the field and healthy. And he would have been, without a doubt, a top 20, top 25 pick. Like that guy, he was legit.
Yeah.
So I think, and then Dax Hill going to a Super Bowl runner-up, young, exciting team.
Yep.
I think he's a very good player. I think he's a day one starter at Michigan. And we've seen a little bit of growing pains, him getting burnt by Alabama receivers in ball games, to him stepping up and making plays in the Big Ten championship. Or I can't think of who, but I remember one particular game he popped someone, even broke some ribs.
Oh, Wisconsin. Killing that blitz. Yeah.
So
I think he got 2 touchdowns last year too. Mm-hmm. I don't want to. I think it might have been career, but I'm not gonna say that. I think I'm gonna just go with 2 touchdowns last season alone.
Jabo is just a freak of nature. Dude's he's huge. He's athletic. I don't know. So I just think overall, we're headed in a good spot, and I would imagine we got a lot of other NFL guys cooking on the squad right now too. So I think we're in a good place.
And I love that spot for Jabo, man. I think it's it's on some literally some family type shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, go take a shot on him. Let him heal up for a year. He already played in the system. So, he's going, he already played in the system, get mental reps all this year, get back healthy. I can see him definitely cracking a rotation. They like big, versatile defenders in Baltimore. So, I feel like, he can be kind of come in, be like a third down pass rusher guy, get his feet wet. And I think he can turn into that, three down type player at some point. So,
and not for nothing, I'm gonna throw Deshaun Haskins in there. I love where he ended up. The idea of them pounding the rock and him just coming down, or them pounding the rock with Derrick Henry, and then him being that second leg, that second fiddle. That's gonna be. I mean, he's obviously not as big, but he's damn near as physical. And I would say that's gonna be a rude awakening for a lot of people. And that's gonna be exciting for them also. And I think they perfect storm. Obviously, we both love Derrick Henry, great back, but we know how long they last nowadays. And him getting banged up towards the end of last year cost him a playoff run. Spurred the Cincinnati to go to the Super Bowl. They played them game 1. So a lot changes if he stays healthy. A lot changes if they have Haskins probably. So
yeah, absolutely. They might even throw the ball next year. I think that Henry injury.
He's gonna bring in Malik and run some read option.
Probably, yeah. No, seriously. I think even too at Henry, you saw him get hurt, so they're probably like, all right, he ain't Superman. You know what I'm saying? We probably got to try to prolong his career. We can't just be shoving the ball down his throat trying to get him to give us 1,800 yards a season.
Yep.
While we bring in a guy, that I think he's
30% of his carries. Yeah, that's just a little.
2nd and 4, 3rd and 1, 4th and 2. I think he only got tackled for loss maybe 3 or 4 times last year combined. He always falls forward. Not the fastest, not the most athletic, like you said, but he'll jump over you. stiff arm you. And I think he's
Absolutely.
like, yeah, I like that's like I mean, perfect like, he went like fourth round. It's a perfect situation for him, and I could definitely see him. If they give him the ball, how I think they will, just with Henry, already kind of getting banged up. 3, 4, 500 yards, 3, 4 touchdowns. Definitely, he could do that consistently. For them down the road.
Yes,
So
no, 100%. Great situation for him.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
I think one thing, just want to kind of touch on overall. What are your thoughts on like the quarterbacks? I think let you answer after this, but I just want to say I feel like, we early on we were always kind of like saying they're gonna put quarterbacks in the top 5, in the top 10, just because that's kind of like what a lot of these guys do. And we saw a lot of drafts where they either had us getting Willis at 2. Thank God. If that would have happened, I literally would have like. And I talked about giving up on the Lions. That would have been it if they would have got him number 2. Um, but the fact that he went from 2 to 84, what are your and a lot of players? I mean, Sam Howell. They at one point they thought he would be first overall, like before the last season started. And Corral, you always saw him like top 10, top 15. Pickett went first round, but it was looking kind of dicey for a second. So, like, what are your thoughts on just kind of like that quarterback, how they try to kind of force him in the first round and how it ended up?
Yeah, I think every year they force a couple of guys into the first round quarterbacks into the first round discussion that have no business being there.
Yep.
But for some reason this year, none of the teams bid on it, which I think is a little weird. Like, were the other positions that much better, or was it just the way the cards fell, the dice rolled when somebody like us, we kind of got it, or it got like if there's not doubt in my mind that if Jared Goff was really hurt right now, or if Jared Goff came out and stunk it up twice as bad, that we would have really thought about that. But I think we thought, I think a lot of teams that maybe would have did that just didn't have the need this for whatever reason this time around.
Yeah.
The Jets, they took one last year. The Giants, they maybe could have, but they rolled with um, Mac was Daniel Jones again. So so I think a lot of people just are staying put for whatever reason, which is odd. And I think,
they're listening to us.
yeah, but no, so it's just very odd, and I wonder, I mean, next year I've already looked at a mock draft, and there's already like 4 quarterbacks in the top 10, so it might swing way in the other direction next year now that everybody skipped around.
Right.
But for something like Malik, it really it sucks because I've seen. I'm gonna mess the numbers up, but it's literally in the like $20-something million difference between being a top 5 pick like he was going to be versus what ended up happening. And I've never seen that have been that bad. Everybody always laugh at Brady Quinn. That's still only like top 5 projected to
Right.
late first round. People laugh at that type of those situations, and this was by far the worst. So I'm thankful he wasn't in the green room. I'm thankful, that so maybe he even had a little bit indication that this might not be happening. Maybe it was just a lot of sports talk and people out there talking. The male
Yeah.
type, who just
Right.
who want to find a diamond in the rough to say I said this was Vic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always feel like, man, taking QBs out of college, I guess, I mean, you can either get Justin Herbert, you can get Tua. You know what I'm saying? You can get Burrow, you can get Johnny Manziel, or Baker Mayfield. Like, you can, I mean, it's really like, it's kind of, got to just be careful with that type of pick. I'm just glad we didn't bite on all the hype. And, yeah, so I just feel like, I think we did a good job as far as just, holding on to Goff. I don't know about you. I'm okay with sticking with Goff. Hell, I'm okay with sticking with Goff, and we can look. We can take for Caleb Williams 2024 if we really want to. You know what I'm saying? Like I think, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like I just think it's you want to just make sure you got a bona fide, guy, that checks all the boxes, and I mean, I think it's simple as that. Like it was like I said, it was definitely shocking to kind of see how far a lot of those guys dropped. But,
and I mean, I don't believe in him by no stretch of means. I don't really believe in a lot of Dan Campbell. I think he's on the hot seat as far as I'm concerned. I think I mean, it's gonna be real hard if we roll out here with sub 7, 8 wins, and you know, I mean, what if we were sitting out there with 3 wins again or 4 wins again? I mean, or we roll out 1-6. I mean, what are we doing here? You know, so I just wonder if that happens, how fast things. But either way, I say we've already proven what they've already proven. The Rams have with if you put a good team around Goff, you can at least have a formidable team.
Yeah.
I think I don't. I'm okay with we already didn't do that, but continuing to load up in the draft and do that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can you can play. You could hop up and get a Deshaun Watson. You could turn around and whatever the case may be. But
Yeah.
it's I do think it's a interesting season. It's kind of a prove year for Goff a little bit. It's a prove year for Dan Campbell. Prove it. I say so. I know a lot of people love him, but I don't know how we can keep him again. I mean, you can't have. And what are you going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
9-7 is the standard.
So what?
So what are you going to do? 9-7 is the standard.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. No, you hit a lot on the head there. I just think at least I'm glad they're able to kind of, I won't say salvage just because I just didn't like that receiver pick, but we'll see. But I'm glad they at least addressed defense, how I wanted them to. Then they were able to get hopefully got some studs in there. One guy we didn't even, I know we didn't really dive into who they got, but one guy came from Jackson State.
I can meant to bring that up.
Coached by Deion Sanders, so I'm sure he has an idea of how things work.
I got that in mind.
When it comes to NFL and such. Transferred from Florida, so he's definitely a player. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the team captain is always, I'm always gonna be a fan of that. Just some guys in there got some real proven leaders, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So,
you got anything else?
That's all, man. I think we don't, it's kind of football season. We put on pause for a little bit at least, and next couple episodes we'll be looking into the NBA lottery, covering the playoffs, and really starting to talk through some different scenarios for potentially getting rid of Jeremy Grant and what that could look like come draft night or come this summer.
Yes, sir. We're on a hunt for Cade's sidekick, so we got to figure that out.
Right. Absolutely.
All right. Peace.
Yep.